Hello friends, looking at current affairs for 12th July. The news items picked up from the Hindu newspaper are these 8. We'll look at them in detail. The first one, Supreme Court stays cattle sale rules across nation. So this is regarding the prevention of cruelty to animals, regulation of livestock market rules 2017, which were recently notified by the Environment Ministry, the central government. So we are seeing, first we'll see at the details of these rules as such, and then we'll go to the present news. So the rules, you can see these rules were derived from the Act, Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act. So this was the parent act for which these regulation rules were notified as such. So these regulation of livestock market rules of Environment Ministry, the major provisions of these are shown here. Of course, the act applies to whole of India except Jammu and Kashmir. As we have seen, this is also subject in the concurrent list. Environment and even environment and animals as well. So here you can see cattle, it cannot be brought to an animal market for sale or slaughter. So it cannot be brought in the market. So it is regulation of livestock market rule. So this was the major provision as such, that it cannot be brought for sale. Cattle cannot be sold as such for slaughter as such. And then another provision which was there was that there should be an animal market committee which should be established at the district level. Then there was a provision that every new cattle market within 3 months should register itself with this committee. Then under the new rules, even cruel practices were prohibited, including slaughtering, painting of horns, cutting the ears of buffaloes, etc. So these were the provisions as such. Some provisions for caged animals to ensure that no animal is kept in pen or cage that is unsuitable for its size. So such provisions were also there. So majorly it was this one provision, that cattle cannot be sold for slaughter, which came under scrutiny. And presently what we are seeing is the Supreme Court has upheld the order of Madurai bench of Madras High Court. So in May 2017, on 31st May, the Madurai bench of Madras High Court put a 4-week stay on centre's notification banning sale and purchase of cattle for slaughtering. Right. So here you can see after this what has happened is in June actually Kerala High Court observed that there is no ban on beef consumption or cattle slaughter. It's only that sale in animal market cannot be done. But the animal market definition under the notification was such that any place where sale is taking place would come under the category of animal market. So that was also a wide definition which was given to animal markets. So this was there. And now we are seeing on 11th July, Supreme Court has upheld the Madurai bench order and has stayed the centre's rules banning cattle sale in livestock markets. Even the centre's viewpoint on this matter is that there has been a public outcry. The carefully worded response of the Additional Solicitor General in the Supreme Court was that the government has received large number of representations that certain aspects of these rules, livestock market rules and even the other rules which they have been notified, were troubling and have thrown up sensitive questions about the central rules. So that is why the government has admitted that we have realized that the rules need tweaking. So the Supreme Court has said that this present notification would be stayed till the amendment is brought in. So this has been the Supreme Court's viewpoint on this. Then the next news item is Mysore-Madras Pacts Unequal. So this is regarding Madras and Mysore Pacts, but actually it is regarding Kaveri water dispute, because this Madras and Mysore were the former governments, means Mysore the princely state and Madras presidency of the British colonial rule. So Mysore now represents Karnataka essentially, and Madras is what we understand as Tamil Nadu broadly. So of course the areas were different. So here what we can see is that Karnataka and Tamil Nadu are having a dispute presently on Kaveri river water sharing, and that has been taken back to the pacts which are there already. So these pacts of 1892 and 1924 have been mentioned as such, according to which the river water distribution has been done. But Karnataka is presently arguing in the Supreme Court that these pacts are showing equality of bargaining power, because Mysore was a princely state and the Madras was a British presidency. So the pacts were in favor of Madras government, the British government as such. So that's what Karnataka is arguing, that these show inequality of bargaining power, lack of conscience, and they have no validity, is what Karnataka claims after the birth of the Indian Constitution. So this is its submission. The dispute as such, Kaveri water dispute, is amongst 3 major states, including a union territory, Puducherry. So Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Kerala are the three major states apart from Puducherry, which have this Kaveri river water dispute. The Kaveri river basin as such lies amongst these three states and a union territory. So the Kaveri water dispute tribunal was already set up by the government. The central government had set it up. It had given its final verdict in 2007 too, but none of the three states were happy with the verdict and they appealed to the Supreme Court against the verdict of Kaveri water dispute, and Supreme Court is presently hearing the appeal. So this is there. Now the thing is that even the central government had argued that Interstate Water Dispute Act of 1956 and even Article 262 of the Constitution, it excludes Supreme Court from hearing and deciding on tribunal decisions. Because tribunals, it is stated that the order of the tribunal, the award of the tribunal is final. No appeal lies against them. So this is final and binding, but then the Supreme Court has accepted these appeals under SLP. Special leave petition. So the Supreme Court has been arguing that no, we have the jurisdiction because Article 136 of the Constitution provides for this jurisdiction to us. So special leave petition can be introduced by these states or any aggrieved party as such. So again, this is an extraordinary power of the Supreme Court, special leave petition. So it has to be sparsely used, and the Supreme Court has been arguing that under Interstate Water Disputes Act also and under Article 262 of the Constitution, which mentions about tribunals, the tribunals have original jurisdiction in interstate river water disputes. So interstate river water disputes go to tribunals, but then on appeal on the decisions of the tribunal, Supreme Court can have a hearing. So this is the Supreme Court stand, and it is continuing to have a hearing on this Kaveri water dispute as such. So here is the remaining details as such too. So here you can see the timeline given. 1892 agreement on sharing Kaveri water between Madras and Mysore. So Madras Presidency and Princely State of Mysore. The 1924 deal was also to resolve the dispute which was there according to this deal as such. In 1990, Supreme Court asked the centre to form a Kaveri water dispute tribunal. So it was on Supreme Court's direction that the tribunal was formed and which gave its final award in 2007. But then after the award came, Karnataka protested that this is a biased award. Now, one more background which you should know about is since historically the water sharing was in favor of Madras Presidency. So after independence too, that continued, the river water sharing continued on those lines, and that is why we have seen that Tamil Nadu government has developed its farms in the Kaveri basin as such, and they have been utilizing as the water availability is there. That way the farmers have also settled there and they grow crops accordingly. Even 3 crops in a year are grown by them. So this is how Tamil Nadu has been functioning and Karnataka has been having a deficit. So this has historically continued, and the tribunal award was also on similar lines. So Karnataka, what it is arguing that it has been historically shortchanged and now it should get its due share. But then the farmers on Tamil Nadu side would suffer because of such a step now. So there is a huge amount of rehabilitation and reconciliation which is required, and these two states need to function together. So now the Supreme Court is hearing the matter, so we'll see what further developments take place. But this is the status presently. So according to the tribunal, there should be a Kaveri Management Board also which had to be set up, but the centre has not taken any step on that matter yet too, because it is disputed the states. Not just Karnataka, even Tamil Nadu has not accepted a tribunal award. All three have appealed. Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala have appealed to the Supreme Court. Means Tamil Nadu is also not happy with what the tribunal gave it. A little lesser than what it thought it was due to it or what it should get to sustain the way they were sustaining for so long, functioning so long. So that's why Tamil Nadu is also not happy. So this is the status of Kaveri water dispute. This is the Kaveri basin you can see here. So this is the Kerala state which has a minor share. Then here is Karnataka and here lies Tamil Nadu. Right? So it drains out, Kaveri drains out into Bay of Bengal. And here lies Puducherry, Karaikal of Puducherry. And this is the water allocation according to the tribunal award to each of the 4 entities. Then the next news item is sensor network to map and predict pollution effluents in Godavari. So this is regarding measuring the pollution level in Godavari river. So this is an initiative which has been taken by actually an international initiative. It is Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation which is funding this exercise, this project, to support the Administrative Staff College of India. So this will provide city-wise sanitation improvement in urban areas in Andhra Pradesh. And as a part of this, a study is being done in this Godavari River. A group of US researchers are involved here working on a system to map the pollution trends in Godavari. Godavari is the second largest river of India. The focus of government in river management has presently been on Ganga, but this is the Godavari River which has been emphasized on through this funding by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So here you can see what has been used for monitoring the pollution trends are satellite monitoring, first of all, then even traversing stretches of the river to collect water samples, and then using special sensors to measure bacterial and chemical pollution. So all three means are being used to understand the pollution level. So what they are trying to develop is a cost-effective forecast system. So once you know the pollution levels, then steps can be taken accordingly. So this sampling exercise is being done, understanding how much is the total dissolved salts, nitrates, the pH level of the water, temperature, turbidity, and all other aspects. So this is the study being done presently to develop a model as such. So this is shown here, you can see. So these sensors, earlier too we have discussed this in news also, that was in April 2017 when Department of Science and Technology said that 40 proposals to make sensors to monitor river and environmental pollution have been initiated. So this is what even here is being done. Sensors are also being used to measure pollutants, right? So this is there. Here you can see the details provided of this exercise as well. So this satellite data is also, satellite monitoring is also being used. So this is there. Then the next news item is Aadhaar Jolt for Provident Fund pensioners in Karnataka. So this is regarding Aadhaar linkage to social schemes. So we have seen that government has made Aadhaar mandatory for various schemes. Around 31 schemes and more actually have been identified by the center for mandatory use of Aadhaar. So all these schemes, you can see some of them mentioned here, not just social schemes, but for other provisions also, like even PAN Aadhaar linkage has been made mandatory now. And even for Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, Aadhaar has been made mandatory. National Food Security Act, MGNREGA, National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, then even employee pension schemes, all these have had Aadhaar linkage been made mandatory. So the government had said that even making it mandatory, nobody would be denied the benefits of the scheme. So if somebody does not have an Aadhaar number, then they will have to register, initiate the process of Aadhaar, getting an Aadhaar, and they can submit that slip also and they would get the benefits. So this was a provision government had made, but eventually Aadhaar is mandatory. So that was the aspect, and now we are seeing that in Karnataka, around 30% of the 5 lakh pension Provident Fund pensioners have not received their pensions for the past 2 months. So this is because they have not linked the Aadhaar details with the Provident Fund accounts. So the officials here in Karnataka are saying that this is actually a central government scheme. So such a situation will be there in other states as well. And the Provident Fund office officials are justifying it, saying that under Provident Fund, earlier the beneficiaries had to submit this survivor certificate every year at their banks. And then we have seen that some certificates are suspicious. So with Aadhaar becoming mandatory, this provision would be smoothened. And they say that they will not have to then provide survivor certificates every year also, but they will have to give their thumb impression instead. So this is what is being spoken of. So this is about Aadhaar. We are seeing this has been a controversial issue, an issue which has been going on in the Supreme Court also. A case is going on it. So you should know about the developments in this. Then next is India to celebrate Falun Gong. So this is actually a Chinese system. It's also called a religious system as such, Falun Gong. So this is banned in China. And India is going to celebrate it on 15th July with a parade in the capital in Delhi. So this has been organized by the Falun Gong members here, and they say that the essential message of Falun Gong is truth, compassion and tolerance. And these are the basic tenets. So it's actually a combination of Taoism of China and Buddhism as such. And this has had a huge following. So earlier even the Chinese officials supported it, but then when its following became huge and its influence became very strong, the government has come up against it, and it's calls it as a cult and are against it, and they call it evil, and the persecution is going on against them. So this brutal torture in China against the Falun Gong members is being highlighted here, and they say that despite this brutal torture, we have continued to survive, and we are not going to surrender to Beijing's strict rules. So this is what they are saying, that they claim that Beijing is trying to eradicate the group as it is extremely popular, and India is supporting them. So this is again in context of even India-China standoff. We are seeing this Falun Gong, which will be celebrated here. You can see it's a mixture of Taoism, Buddhism beliefs, and even it's actually essentially it is physical exercises, traditional Chinese physical exercises, a spiritual movement as such. This is the symbolism also given here. So Buddhist and Taoist religious symbols, this Tao symbols, yin and yang, are also included here, and even the swastik symbol as such is seen here. So this is the basic teachings of this cult as such is also shown here. You can see the fundamental teachings are that purify every thought and action according to truth, compassion and tolerance. Find fault with yourself rather than others in a conflict. Try to keep a calm mind at all times and in all situations. Treat everybody in the same way. And finally, never charge money or accept gifts or donations for teaching the Falun Gong exercises. So these are the basic tenets of this Falun Gong as such. Then the next news item is Startup India slow pace worries government. So this is regarding the Startup India program. But before looking at this news, we'll first look at what Startup India was all about. It was actually announced on the Independence Day in 2015 itself, on 15th August 2015 by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and it actually was launched on 16th Jan 2016. So in 2016, after this launch called Startup India, Stand Up India program, it wanted to endorse and support startups, giving them incentives, benefits, and the startup. What was a startup was any business or organization which was started less than 5 years old. So this actually age has also been increased presently. The definition has been widened, and also annual turnover should be less than 25 crore, and also it should be on innovativeness. So these were the three major provisions as a definition of startups. These would be supported and be provided benefits by the government. So here you can see the definition was also provided as such. This is the earlier definition because some aspects have changed now. So you can see any legal entity will be identified as a startup till up to 5 years. So this has turned to 7 years in general for startups, and since biotechnology based startups said that they needed more time, incubation time was more, so that has gone up to 10 years. So this is the new definition. Turnover remains the same if it does not exceed 25 crores. And the third provision of innovativeness, here also addition has been made. We'll see that also later. So it should be working towards innovation, development, deployment and commercialization of new product, process or service driven by technology or intellectual property. So this is the original definition. You can see the definition has changed here. As I said, startup up to 7 years. For biotechnology sector up to 10 years, and also the third provision, the definition of startups as for innovativeness, it has said it has included, addition has been made, that scalability of business model with potential of employment generation or wealth creation would also be considered as a startup. So the broadening of definition has been done because we are seeing that the startup scheme has not seen much development. So these were some of the benefits which were provided to these startups. 3-year income tax exemption would be there, tax relief on capital gains, 10,000 crore corpus fund was created by the government for the startups as such. Self-certification for compliance with labor and environmental laws were provided for. No inspection for 3 years. No turnover and experience criteria for startups. So this was also there. Startups will be able to register themselves online. So this is there. They can even close business within 90 days. So such benefits were provided. Even patent registration costs were reduced, etc. Credit guarantee scheme was also devised for them. But then what we see that the response which the Startup India scheme got was not much. Till date, there are just 39 startups which have qualified for concessions. It's been 18 months now. So that is why even till March 2017, there were only 10 startups eligible. But after the definition changed, we see now it's gone up to 39. And now government is planning to further endorse this scheme to bring in more people under this, more startups under this. The aim is to cross 100 by September 2017. So this is regarding this scheme now. So even the earlier applications which were earlier not satisfying the criteria, since the criteria have changed, those applications are being reviewed again and being given a fair chance now. So that is what the officials are saying. So this is regarding Startup India. This is also showing some startups which have started in India but they have not stayed in India. They end up abroad. So this is like Flipkart. So it is now in Singapore. Quicker has shifted to Mauritius. Even Grofers is in Singapore and Pepperfry in Cyprus. Some of them have stayed in India too, like Snapdeal, Ola is still in India. So this is given. Then the next news item is 5 states, a union territory signed pact with center on e-marketplace. So it is stated that in spirit of cooperative federalism, means working together, states and center working together, 5 states and a union territory have formally adopted the central government's initiative. This is called Government E-Marketplace. So GEM. So this Government E-Marketplace is actually for procurement of goods and services by government, by the public sector. So public procurement of goods and services, if it's worth more than 5 lakh crore annually, it can be done through this annual platform for transparency and to eliminate corruption. So this is the initiative which Centre has launched, and the Prime Minister has asked states to take up this GEM initiative. So he says it will bring in transparency, efficiency and speed up even public procurement. Because even government, for its functioning, various ministries, various sectors under it require goods and services. So this public procurement which is done, it should be done through this platform. So here it's the Government E-Marketplace, the online platform. So there will be real-time dynamic pricing here. There will be fully integrated, it will be fully integrated from registration to payment. Everything will take place online. Facility of e-bidding and reverse auction would also be there. There will be no paperwork as such. It will be secured with Aadhaar-based e-signing. It will be transparent, efficient, time-bound payment will also be done, and complete document management with audit trail will be in place. So this is the Government E-Marketplace, an initiative to eliminate corruption in public procurement. Public here means government procurement as such. Right? So this is an important initiative. It is also stated that more states and union territories will join in, like Andhra, Assam. No, sorry, these have joined. Others are UP, Jharkhand, Tamil Nadu, Haryana will also sign an MOU with the center to join this Government E-Marketplace. So this is important. And the last news item is Earth facing 6th mass extinction. So the researchers are now claiming that Earth is facing another mass extinction, the 6th as such, because it is seen that 30% of animals with backbone, more than that too, have declined in both range and population. Means their habitat shrinking is taking place. So this dwindling of both range and population is a matter of concern. Many mammal species have been lost as such too. So they are being lost at a pace much faster than it was expected. So this is what this global study is giving the details, because this has data covering period from 1900 to 2050. So researchers have brought out this comprehensive data, and they say globally the mass die-off which is taking place, this will be the 6th in the last half billion years as such on Earth, and this is since the 3/4 of life on Earth was already over with the non-avian dinosaurs which were wiped off through a giant meteor impact. So this was the extinction, mass extinction of non-avian dinosaurs which took place, and now we are seeing the mass extinction which they claim is much more prominent in tropical regions, but also taking place in temperate zone as such too. So the highest number of declining species are from tropical region, but not just that, even the temperate region is seeing decline. And they say the main factors which are responsible for this decline are habitat loss, overconsumption, pollution, invasive species, diseases, and also poaching, especially for larger animals. So these are the causes for decline in the animal species. And they say that climate change is going to be another major threat in the coming decades for the animal species. So this is there. So these are the news items. Thank you.